Hello, welcome. I'm Judy Tran and this is Onoche Chukwurah. Welcome to Rhythms of the Village. Today we're going to do a little tutorial for you about West African drum patterns and rhythms. So we're going to break these rhythms down for you in bite-sized steps, talk about how to write them out. If you're a total beginner at music, this is good for you just to start getting to know note values and rhythms and how to understand rhythms for any type of music. If you're just interested in West African music, this is also a good place to start. And if you've been listening to West African music for a long time and want to write more music for yourself, be able to write things down that you hear, then this is also a good place to come. So we're going to actually start for you by playing a little bit. We're going to play a basic rhythm pattern for you, and you're going to pay attention to Onoche on the drum here. I'm just going to be keeping the basic beat here on the agogos. So, shall we? You ready? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, as you heard me playing on the agogos, actually I should pick these up again. You heard me playing two different pitches, and you can hear that there's a small bell up here that makes a very high-pitched sound, and then there's the larger bell here that makes the lower-pitched sound. So, all in all, you're hearing a reoccurring pattern that goes high, low, 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 high, low, low, low. So if you're counting along with that, the high pitch is beat 1, and then you're hearing 2, 3, 4 on the lower bell. So ultimately, you're going to be counting in patterns of 4, which sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now when we write these things down, we write that out as meter. The number of counts that you hear over and over again is your meter. So you're going to see two numbers. First, your top number, it tells you how many beats are per measure. So this is obviously 4 beats per measure. And then you're going to see a bottom number. In this case, the 4 means the quarter note gets 1 beat. So for those of you who don't know what a quarter note is, basically it looks like this. You're just going to see a note head, which is the circular part, and then the stem, which comes up from there. You can also have ones that go down like this. That's also a quarter note, up or down. Now, this usually means that the one note that you see gets 1 beat. So basically, if I were going to write out an example of a 4/4 measure in quarter notes, I'm just going to have 4 of these same notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is a bar line that just shows us where the end of one cycle of the pattern ends. So this is one measure that you're looking at here. Okay, so when you're talking about any kinds of rhythms, but particularly West African rhythms, you're going to have to keep in mind subdivision. So how many different ways you break up each of these beats into smaller beats. So 1 quarter note is 1 beat. I'm going to show you 3 different subdivisions that you can break this quarter note up into. Okay, here's the first one. Okay, this is an 8th note. So 8th notes usually come in pairs. They usually come in groups of 2, and 2 of them fit into 1 quarter note. Okay, so that's the eighth note. Oh, by the way, when they're not attached together, they look like this. Also known as a quaver. So this is a singular eighth note. Here's two of them together. And you could string, I've seen as many as 16, maybe more of them strung together at once. Okay, now your next note value, I'll give you a bar line there. And I should explain what note value means. Basically, just like certain amounts of money, certain coins have a certain value, the notes have a value. So a quarter note, its value is 1 beat. For an eighth note, that value is only half a beat. So you're only going to see 2 eighth notes per every single beat that you have. Okay, so now this other kind of subdivision, which we will see later in a different rhythm pattern, is called a triplet. So it looks like 3 little eighth notes. 1, 2, 3. Put together. And usually you will see some kind of bracket, either on the bottom or the top, with a 3 on it, so that you can tell that 3 of those little eighth notes actually fit in 1 beat. Okay, but we'll look at those more in the next tutorial. The one that we're going to focus on today is a 16th note. We're working on 16th note subdivision. So as you probably guessed, eighth notes, you have 2 of them per beat. Triplets, you're going to have 3 of them per beat. So with 16th notes, you're going to have 4 of them per beat. And they look like this. So they kind of look like eighth notes with another extra little line going across, like this. So in order to get today's rhythm and to know how to write it down, I'm going to write it down here. First, you're going to need your meter. So we're in 4/4. And I'm going to write down the counts. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, and 4 counts. So instead of having 4 quarter notes like you have up here, you're going to have 4 sets of 4 16th notes each, also known as quadruplets. Okay, there's 1. There's 2, so color that in a little more. There's 3, and last but not least, there is 4. It looks like a lot of notes, but it goes by very quickly. So now we're going to play the same rhythm pattern again. See if you can listen for 4 small 16th notes inside every beat. So when we start playing this, again, I'm just going to play the basic beat here. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the agogos, while Baba Onoche here is going to play our rhythm pattern that you see. Then as he continues to play, then I will begin counting out loud with you, and I will also show you a way to actually label each one of these 16th notes with your speech. All right, let's give it a try. hopefully that helped a little bit. I would actually like us to do this one more time without the agogos. So you're going to hear the same rhythm pattern. We're going to do it slowly, and I'm going to point to the notes as they go by. I will also count them. So slowing down the counting I gave you earlier, I was saying 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So I'm going to choose a different color here. So that looks like this. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and If it helps you to think in words, you can also say watermelon, 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 watermelon. That also works. Okay, so let's play this again, and I'm going to point out the subdivisions for you. Nice and slow. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Let's do it again. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Let's go even slower. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Hopefully you can hear that. Thank you very much. So I'm sure you've noticed too that at the end of each one of our cycles of rhythms here, Onoche plays a little rhythm pattern at the end, and that's called the break. Would you mind playing the break? So that often you'll hear at the beginnings and ends of the rhythm patterns, definitely at the ends of rhythm patterns. This is very common in West African music. This way, everybody knows how to start and everybody knows where to stop. Eventually, over time, as you begin learning all these different patterns that we're laying out for you, we're also going to be talking about how those patterns can potentially fit together. I think you're going to find that it's pretty exciting and surprising often which patterns actually fit together and in which ways. For those of you who are already musically inclined, mixed meters are really common in West African music. So you're going to find things overlaying that you wouldn't have suspected before. So this is a pretty cool adventure if you stay tuned and subscribe to our channel and keep going with our tutorials. Okay, so shall we actually play a song?
Okay.
Okay. So I get to play the djembe this time. So I'm going to be playing our rhythm pattern today with 16th note subdivisions. And Baba Onoche is going to play a rhythm that actually overlaps that. Do you want to show them what that rhythm is? And this is what this pattern sounds like overlaid with that. very much.
Good.
Thank you. Hope you subscribe to our channel and come visit us again. Bye-bye.